Good morning, UUSS. Please rise in body or spirit and sing with us, Gather the Spirit. Gather the Spirit, harvest the power. Our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour. The trials in this light appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion, and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit of heart and mind. Seeds for the sowing are laid in store. Nurtured in love and conscience refined. Body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion, and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit growing in all, drawn by the moon and fed by the sun. Winter to spring and summer to fall. The chorus of life resounding as one. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion, and strength. Gather to celebrate once again.
Good morning. I need to catch my breath. Good morning and welcome to our Sunday service. Whether you are with us here in the room or on Zoom, we are glad you're here. Our guest preacher today is J.D. Stillwater, whose sermon title is Defiant Love, Interrogating Our American Heritage. And I will tell you more about J.D. in a moment. My name is Roger Jones, and I'm happy to serve as one of the co-ministers of this congregation, along with my co-ministry colleague, the Reverend Lucy Bunch. And we're very happy that our musicians are here and our AV staff and volunteers are here to make this service happen to be together in community. Our congregation's mission statement says, "We come together to deepen our lives and be a force for healing in the world." Toward this end, we honor the Nishanan, Southern Maidu, and Miwok peoples for their commitment to this land where UUSS exists. They have never left nor ceased to care for this land. If you're with us online, you can find a copy of today's order of service on our website through a link in our chat on Zoom. The blue sheet, our weekly calendar of activities, is also online as well as on paper. Who has one on paper? Very good. You can get your prize afterwards. Our monthly newsletter and Friday email message about the upcoming weekends come out by email. So we ask you to fill out a newcomer's form either by a link to our website or at the welcome table after the service so that we can connect with you. A few highlights from the blue sheet. As you might notice, if you're in the room and you look at the walls, we have a new art exhibit. And it is Waters of China, North and South by two local artists. And there will be an artist reception this Thursday evening with refreshments and a chance to hear from both artists. Kim Stoddard, would you rise? Kim is our curator. And chairperson for the Art Exhibit Committee. Next week after the service is our monthly newcomers orientation, which includes a tour of the campus, and it starts about 10 minutes after the conclusion of the service, and it lasts about an hour. This Wednesday night is a monthly New Testament Bible study, which I will be leading in the library. And next Sunday before the service, I will be leading a drop-in Soul Matters group on our theme for February, which is resilience. All are welcome. And the UU the Vote table is here. There's a sign out there, and there are packs of postcards for you to take and mail to voters in other states, and the mailing deadline is this Thursday. So UU the Vote invites you to stop by. After the service, if you are with us on Zoom, we have 20 minutes for you to get acquainted. And if you're on campus, you can check out the connections table in the welcome hall and enjoy refreshments and conversation. And you can enjoy soup. Today is the last Soup Sunday of the season. But Soup Sunday will start up next fall if we have a coordinator or a couple of coordinators in place. The line for the soup forms on that side, on the left, and it goes down that hallway behind the wall out there in the welcome hall. And there's no charge for soup, but voluntary donations are welcome. Enjoy some soup and make some new acquaintances. And we thank our UUSS volunteers who help out at Loaves and Fishes for hosting soup this day. And if you're staying for the forum, which is happening back in the sanctuary, it will start at noon. So you are welcome to bring your soup in here and eat it. But if you would like more conversation while the forum is happening, we'll invite you to leave so that people can hear the speaker. And the forum is entitled The Science of Sex and Gender. It's not just X and Y. And it will go from noon until 1 o'clock or so. And it will be on Zoom too, on the same way you got in for the service. And the leader of the forum is the same person who is giving the sermon. Who is that person? He's also playing the drums. He's doing a lot, getting a lot out of him, which is good because he came all the way across the country from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Harrisburg, the Unitarian Church in Harrisburg. J.D. Stillwater is a science ambassador who travels around the country offering talks on a variety of topics, especially in UU congregations. And he has 25 years of science education experience from kindergarten through grade 12. He has presented workshops at the General Assembly of our denomination, the UUA, and he's written for an online publication of the UUA called Braver, Wiser. And he has collaborated with the songwriter of our beloved hymn, Blue Boat Home. Yeah. He's also the uncle of one of our members here at UUSS. JD is here with his spouse, Ann Stillwater. And as I said, they're both members of the Unitarian Church of Harrisburg. Welcome to you both. And next, JD will lead the words for our chalice lighting, and Ann will light it.
Good morning. It is such a privilege to be here this morning. With strong resolve and an openness to change, we light a fire of commitment in our embracing chalice of community. And we light that same fire in the chalice of our hearts and our minds as we strive to be the change that we wish to see in the world, knowing that our thoughts and our deeds are going to echo throughout the generations to come, right?
This is the first Sunday of the month, so during the Music for Centering, you're welcome to light a candle or fill out a card with your joy or sorrow or prayer. And you can indicate on there if you would like it read in the service or you just want to let the ministers know. Kids, which is for children in kindergarten through grade 5, and the junior high youth group meets on the first and third Sundays, and that includes today. That's for grades 6, 7, and 8, and the senior high youth group is for grades 9 through 12, and we will sing you out and see you after the service for soup.
You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Lift up your eyes. Don't you despair. Look up ahead. The path is there. You gotta put one foot in front of the other one. One foot, lead with love. You gotta one foot in front of the other one. One foot, and lead with love.
I am all for that, leading with love. Good morning. Good morning, my people. It's wonderful to be with you. At times of strife in our world, it is good to be together. It is necessary to be together. Look around at the folks here today and feel the longing that we all share for a safer, a more safe, a more just, and more peaceful world. No, you are not alone. Let's all take a deep breath together. And one more with a big sigh. Many of us are reeling from the events in Minnesota. If you're like me, you might be feeling anxiety, fear, rage, powerlessness. And of course, Minneapolis is only one of the places that is on our hearts, one of the places that is troubling our souls. But let us ensure that these events do not shake our faith, because we know for every hater and disruptor in this world, every powermonger and fearmonger, there are many more good people striving to find our way to a better path. Know that we are not complacent. We are struggling to find our way through chaos and despair. We are holding hands and we are holding hope. And we are working together to reclaim the narrative for our country. And in these times, we draw strength by coming together, by reflecting on our shared values and our shared vision of a world that is full of love and justice for all. Let's take another deep breath together. And let us light our candle of compassion and resistance. In this ritual, we recognize the times in which we live, times of disruption and anxiety, when cruelty is on display and so many are in danger. Our values call us to compassion and resistance. As we kindle this flame, let its light inspire us to bear witness to human decency, dignity, freedom, and the power of love. It is good to hear from each other about the joys and sorrows in our lives. Sharing binds us together in community. Let us hear what is on the hearts this morning. Brittany is sharing a joy that their son is learning to successfully navigate his emotions as he grows into a young adolescent. Kate is sharing a joy that after 2 days in the hospital with a severe respiratory infection, their 15-month-old granddaughter is back home. Celia is sharing their sorrow of trying to stay in the moment as their beautiful 8-year-old Aussie is nearing the end of his life from cancer diagnosed in July. Matt Nelsenador wants to share with us his joy that his band Anti-Mass Dogs has its first full gig next Saturday at Cafe Paso. Go Anti-Mass Dogs. Patty B is sharing with us that her friend and our friend Kathy Stock is recovering from knee surgery, and she thanks the caring committee for soup. Mary Ann is sharing a joy that her late husband is receiving a national award for his scholarship 75 years after his death. Or maybe it's 15. Let's say 15. And Marianne, we share your joy as well. Gina Guarneri is sharing both a joy and a sorrow. She's sending up the healing spirit for her brother Ed, who is dealing with many health issues, and also the gratitude for her 5 siblings who are supporting him. Jen Campbell wants to tell us her joy in starting a new job teaching music to grades TK through 8, and that she will begin a teacher intern credential program in a few weeks. Go, Jen. Patty I is sharing a joy that her aunt is responding to her cancer treatment, and her mom is getting stronger after a hip fracture and repair surgery. And Patty, another Patty, this one Purvis Tileman, is sharing with us that she has a joy after leaving her beloved community at the Mount Diablo UU Church in Walnut Creek. Her joy is finding a new beloved community here at UUSS. I also want to share that Ted and Renee Scott Feminella are grateful for all your prayers and love during Ted's hospitalization. They tell us that while pneumonia is still limiting daily life, they're joyful he's home and recovering. And especially their dogs are very thrilled that he is home. Let's take another deep breath together. And let's settle into a time of prayer as I offer these words. Spirit of life, let us be grateful for the joys in our lives. Let us honor each other's joys, and let us hold in our care the sorrows that we've heard today and those that remain unspoken. Let us remember the power and strength of this community and all communities of love and faith. May our lives be a prayer in our intentions, our actions, and our commitment to love and justice for all. Help us make this so. Give us the courage, O Spirit, the resilience, and the perseverance to be a presence of love and help light the way to a new day. Blessed be. And now let us take a moment of silence together for the prayers on our hearts this morning. Blessed be.
Let's declare our unity as one community, singing "We Would Be One."
We would be one as one.
We actually have 3 readings for you this morning, and Dawn and I are going to sort of tag team them. They're short. The first one is from Terence McKenna, and we don't often get fire and brimstone in UU churches, but here comes Terence McKenna. We have to create culture. Don't watch TV, don't read magazines, don't even listen to NPR. That is all cultural diversion. And what is real is you and your friends and your associations, your highs, your orgasms, your hopes, your plans, your fears. And we're told, no, we're unimportant, we're peripheral. Get a degree, get a job, get a this, get a that. And then you're a player. You don't even want to play in that game. You want to reclaim your mind and get it out of the hands of the cultural engineers who want to turn you into a half-baked moron consuming all this trash that's being manufactured out of the bones of a dying world. That's the end quote.
The second reading is tamer but equally heartfelt. This is a quote from Chuck Palahniuk, who's an American novelist best known for his first published book, Fight Club, which was later made into a movie. His work has been described as transgressional fiction. He said this during a forum at Barnes & Noble University in 2004. The first step, especially for young people with energy and drive and talent, but not money, the first step to controlling your world is to control your culture, to model and demonstrate the kind of world you demand to live in, to write the books, make the music, shoot the films, paint the art.
And this last one is from Joe Bailey, who writes, quote, "Life equates to being fairly simple at times, although we have the tendency and unbelievable ability to complicate things. So I suggest we go to the basics. Do unto others as you would have others do unto your children. Yes, your children, because they are the ones that will be left behind to live their lives in the world that we have created."
I choose this day to breathe freedom and laughter. I choose this day to feel more than enough. Not yesterday and not any day after. I choose this day to be one with love. I choose this day. I choose this day. I choose this day. I choose this day to be one with love. I choose this day to be freedom and laughter. I choose this day to feel more than enough. Not yesterday and not any day after. I choose this day to be one with love. I choose this day. I choose this day. choose this day to be one with love. I choose this day. I choose this day. I choose this day. I choose this day to be one with love. I choose this day to be freedom and laughter. I choose this day to be more than enough. Not yesterday and not any day after. I choose this day to be one with love. I choose this day. I choose this day. I choose this day. I choose this day to be one with love. I choose this day. I choose this day. I choose this day. I choose this day to be one with love. I choose this day. I choose this day. I choose this day. I choose this day to be one with love. You've already heard the mission statement once, but it's good enough that it bears repeating. Our congregational mission statement says, we come together to deepen our lives and be a force for healing in the world. One of the ways we live into this mission is by giving away half of each Sunday's offerings to an organization working to heal the world. Our community partner this month is NorCal Resist. NorCal Resist focuses on immigration justice and community aid in the Sacramento region, standing in opposition to the policies, politicians, and systems that harm our community. It hosts free legal clinics for asylum seekers and supports them as they work to secure housing. NorCal Resist provides accompaniment to government appointments, healthcare visits, and more, and distributes farm fresh food, groceries, and essential items, including diapers, to those in need. Our refugee support team works hand in hand with NorCal Resist, and they have a table in the welcome hall after the service today if you want to talk to them about how you might get more involved. As life becomes more treacherous for asylum seekers, NorCal Resist offers a vehicle repair clinic to reduce potentially dangerous encounters with law enforcement. It also has a bond fund to help volunteers fight protest and ICE-related charges. So please give as generously as you can to UUSS and our community partner, NorCal Resist. This morning's offering will now be given and received. Soon, love, soon. Soon, love, soon. Soon, love, soon.
There'll be a fire burning in the temple of our peace. There'll be a soaring voice for our silent plea. We will hold our broken circle and begin to pray. We will find the black and white in the gray.
And we will be as one God.
Oh, yeah.
And we will be as one people.
Oh, yeah.
And we will be as one God.
Oh, yeah.
And we will be as one people.
unnatural light. You will travel 1,000 miles without leaving my side. We will find we never knew hatred ran so deep. Such a wide, wide chasm of faith to leap. But we will be as one God, and we will be as one people.
Soul. We will know that to be apart is to be truly whole. We will know the pattern of centuries rise and fall. We will know that the fate of one is the fate of all. And we will be as one God. And we will be as one people. And we will be as one God. And we will be as one people. And we will be as one God. And we will be as one people. And we will be as one God. And we will be as one people. And we will be as one God. And we will be as one people. And we will be as one God. And we will be as one people. And we will be as one God. And we will be as one people.
As the ushers come forward, please join in our unison response. May generosity bless our world, and may gratitude nourish our spirits.
I was very impressed that Anthony and the ensemble were able to come up with Soon, Love, Soon. It's a great song. Well, good morning. Good morning. I started working on this topic around Father's Day. So I was thinking about ancestors and descendants, grandparents and grandchildren. And at some point during the last few years, it seemed to Anne and me that grandchildren are probably not in our future. And for me, this brought some sadness. I'm not a pronatalist. Anne and I have been very careful never to pressure or even really to encourage our kids to have children. It's just not our decision. I want them to make it for themselves either way. But I see you grandparents. I know what I'll be missing, and I'm a little sad about it. I also know intellectually that what truly matters in this world is not my grandchildren anyway, but the grandchildren. Humanity is in a precarious place, right? One where it's no longer possible to protect my grandchildren unless we can repair the world for all of the grandchildren. This is my mom with two of her great-grandchildren. Only one of them is a genetic descendant of hers. Can you tell which? No, you cannot. And if you thought, even for a fraction of a second, that you could, well, think about that. Our brains have habits, and those habits come from somewhere. And that's what I'm getting at this morning. This is my mom's father, my grandfather. He was a good man and a product of his time. Grandpa believed deep in his bones that German people are the best. And he kept a detailed hierarchy of ethnicities and racial groups somewhere in his head. And I don't actually know how long his ancestors were here in North America, but I'm pretty sure most of them were German, right? That's just part of my heritage. On my other side, my father's father was a genealogist, so we know more about his ancestors, and we know they were here a pretty long time. For example, I am directly related to the Admiral Dewey, who is known as the hero of Manila Bay for defeating the Spanish Armada during the Spanish-American War. And Grandpa was unhappy that I changed my name when Ann and I got married. That's part of my heritage, too. My American heritage. Well, every summer on July 4th, most Americans celebrate the victory of plucky pioneer forefathers over the well-regimented armies of an oppressive monarch, right? A victory which we celebrate by blowing stuff up. Well, I happen to really love fireworks, even knowing that they are a reenactment of exactly what's happening in Ukraine right now. Fireworks are a beautiful and inspiring way that we glorify what is inherently evil. And I can't reconcile these things, and I still love fireworks. I just do. My American heritage. Well, in 2008, I took a test of implicit bias and discovered that in spite of all my enlightened efforts at treating everyone the same, my subconscious mind holds a stubborn bias against people of color. Ever since then, I've been looking more critically at my own heritage, especially its origins. Where did white culture come from? How did we get here? Well, after reading this book, I have an answer, or at least a strong clue. I think the origins of my American heritage are rooted in trauma. We know that families that have endured trauma are more prone to addiction, abuse, neglect, and other kinds of family dysfunctions. And such families often have an unspoken code of conduct, as described by the 12-step group, Adult Children of Alcoholics and Other Dysfunctional Families. And the unspoken code says, don't talk, don't trust, don't feel, and don't remember. Don't talk about the dysfunctions. Don't trust anyone because traumatized people are unpredictable. They can be violent. Don't feel your feelings because they don't matter, and you'll be punished if you express them. And don't remember anything that would undermine the happy family facade, because everyone else in the family is just going to deny it anyway. Disney got it right with Encanto. We don't talk about Bruno. This is a family rooted in trauma. We work and we fight and we sulk, but we don't talk, trust, feel, or remember. Now, when nations are rooted in trauma, the same code applies. We get racial hierarchies. Violence and the threat of violence is the only imaginable means of security. We get soul-crushing patriarchies and the kind of shallow nationalism that requires us to forget our own history. And then this manifests as a social culture that idealizes individualism, selfishness, consumerism, neglect of community and the commons. and this really weird obsession with bootstraps. So what's this trauma I'm talking about? Just imagine what it was like to live in Europe during the Middle Ages. Brutal, ongoing oppression from people who look just like you, with routine torture, wars, famines, plagues, cruel punishments that would be trauma-inducing for us to even imagine. Think about the toll the pandemic took on our mental health, and then multiply that by constant war and famine and torture, and make it last for 1,000 years, 50 generations. By the time the Renaissance came around, my ancestors were severely damaged, and they didn't even know it. They called it Western civilization. Did you know that until about 1800, that big difference there. Until about 1800, there was a common form of summertime entertainment in Europe and its colonies. Cat burnings. Entire villages would turn out. They'd fill a sack with cats and then burn them alive over a bonfire for the sheer hilarity of it. If that's not mental illness. My ancestors were damaged, traumatized, mentally ill, and we've never addressed it. Well, at this point, you've probably seen or heard this word somewhere. And it might be related to how medieval trauma could still affect me today. So I want to tell a little bit about it. Epigenetics is a new, pretty much pioneering branch of molecular genetics. And it's only really been around since about the 1990s. So in school, you probably learned about how genes are encoded by DNA and how those gene blueprints determine all of our physical features and some of our mental and emotional ones too. But that's not the whole story. Our genes come with packaging. And for decades, we thought that packaging was inert, that it had no role in our development. But it turns out it plays a fairly active role in regulating gene expression. Genes get turned on or off, or they're more or less active based on that packaging. And the packaging can be inherited. That's called epigenetic inheritance, because your genes, the DNA itself, isn't changed, but its activity is changed in a way that can be passed on. Well, what does this have to do with trauma? Well, the seminal experiment on that was just done in 2013. This is real recent stuff. The experimenters exposed mice to acetophenone, which smells like cherry blossoms, completely harmless smell. They gave them that smell just for a few seconds, during which they gave them a harmless but painful shock to their feet. And they did that 5 times. The following day, 5 more times, and again the third day. Whiff of the stuff, shock to the feet. That's it. Then they let the mice live out their lives, including mating and having babies. Well, when the baby mice were grown, they exposed them to that same smell, and the baby mice immediately became anxious. Their heart rate and blood pressure rose, and their behavior looked like they were in panic. A whole generation later, the grandchild mice reacted the same way to the smell of cherry blossoms. So they ran the experiment again, but this time they isolated the babies from the parents at birth. Same thing. They used in vitro fertilization and surrogate mothers. Same thing. And these were just harmless shocks over 3 days. And this result is so surprising and potentially so relevant to who we are that the field has exploded. And now there are hundreds of studies on epigenetically inherited effects of trauma. And it's not simple or clear-cut. There are lots of factors. Not all traumas and not all stimuli show up as dramatically as it did with the mice. But the concept has electrified the relevant sciences. And if it pans out, it suggests that some of our gut reactions, including ones we may not like very much about ourselves, may have been programmed in us before we were even born. And the connection that Resmamenicum makes in his book is that our modern global culture, and specifically Euro-American culture, is rooted in the trauma of medieval Europe, no matter how it got passed down to us. And that trauma informed and shaped my Euro-American heritage. And it allowed my ancestors to brutalize and exploit indigenous people everywhere they went, initiating a self-repeating cycle of intergenerational trauma and dysfunction that obviously continues today. And trauma and dysfunction get transmitted directly through abuse and exploitation, but also culturally and possibly epigenetically to some extent. So this trauma is deeply embedded in our bodies, in our minds, our emotional responses, our language, and our religious traditions. Explains a lot, doesn't it? So what do we do now? Well, knowing that all of us are affected by this, what I've come to call post-medieval stress disorder, how do we honor the grandchildren and release them from this cycle? Well, I think we have to carefully examine and, yes, defy our own cultural heritage. Raise your hand if the extreme consumerism around Christmas bothers you. Yeah. Now, keep your hand up if you're still participating in it. That's what I thought, yeah. We've got to pay attention to those nagging feelings and follow them to a new way of being American. A new way of celebrating winter holidays, for just one example. And that's an act of defiance, right? It's also an act of love for the grandchildren. I think we have to break the rules that we inherited from our dysfunctional families and our culture. We have to talk about uncomfortable subjects. We have to trust our neighbors and people that we reflexively regard as the other. We have to feel our feelings and honor them. Find out, what are they trying to tell us? We have to remember the foolish and evil stuff in our heritage along with the glorious triumphs. Because there are glorious triumphs. And their celebration will be so much more meaningful if we remember honestly and authentically the missteps and the errors and the awfulnesses that taught us to reach for those triumphs. Remembering it all requires a defiance that's rooted in love for the grandchildren. So we have these intersecting threads. Research on direct trauma and its effects on our bodies. Studies of epigenetics as a possible transmitter of trauma through generations. A commitment to building a new way for the grandchildren. And we have our UU values to guide our way. Woven together, these threads suggest that if we want to bend the arc of the moral universe towards justice, if we want to create inclusive, beloved community, we have to start with ourselves, with our bodies. We have to think globally and act locally. Think 7 generations and act now. And it doesn't get much more here and now than our own bodies and minds, right? How can we heal from this? Well, there's not much of a scientific consensus on that yet, but Resmamenicum describes techniques that his ancestors used to soothe their bodies and build resilience during the compounded traumas of enslavement and the Jim Crow era. So I encourage you to study his books with others, maybe in a group here. Have you already? Do you have a book group or something about? Okay. I encourage that. Incorporate the techniques that he offers into your daily routines. He includes several activities you can use. Holocaust descendant and trauma therapist Gabor Mate is another good source for this healing work. And then Ann and I were blown away by a talk we saw given by a Vietnamese refugee and trauma educator, Linda Tai. And she studied with Bessel van der Kolk, who is the author of The Body Keeps the Score. So there's a whole community of researchers out there. Lots of resources, lots of movement in the field of healing from trauma, both our own trauma and ancestral trauma. My own path encourages me to weave in what I've learned from Brené Brown and from yoga and other somatic practices like deep tissue massage therapy, Sufi and folk dancing, and 12-step recovery. And taken together, they tell me that justice requires healing relational and systemic harms through healing myself of residual trauma. So to that end, here are some affirmations that may help, and they reflect wisdom from all those sources, so none of these will be surprising or new to you. And, in the interest of full disclosure, I should tell you that I consulted with an AI as I researched the commonalities among these many approaches. So not all of the turns of phrase are mine. And I think the ushers, do we have printed copies to give out? Did that happen? I might have forgotten to even ask for that. That would be too bad. All right. Hopefully we'll get that done, or you can find it on my website. I'm just going to skim through them in the interest of time, but I think they're worth taking some time with. So somehow we'll get you a copy. Justice requires healing. My healing is sacred, necessary, and revolutionary. A surgeon can't heal with a dirty scalpel, and we can't create justice while still expressing a traumatized, Eurocentric culture. We have to evolve, and that's a sacred, defiant, necessary process. Healing is not a race. I honor my unique rhythms, knowing that growth takes time and tenderness. One of Tema Okun's characteristics of white culture is urgency. Our economic system insists on it, right? Time is money. We think it's normal to be frantic all the time. It's not. I am whole even as I heal. I am enough even as I grow. Even the most broken among us have inherent worth, right? And the trauma response is a defensive one. Evolution gifted us with it because it bestows survival and resilience. So our personal and cultural defects served a purpose at one time that's no longer relevant. So we can thank them and release them. My worth is not defined by my productivity or perfection or performance. Talk about defiant, right? Any other workaholics in here? Yeah. If my only value is in what I accomplish, then productivity becomes all that matters. But we are so much more than our products. We have to love ourselves when our culture keeps telling us that our value is measured by our work, our possessions, what our bodies look like. I am allowed to feel all my emotions. There is no shame in my pain. We don't handle grief very well in our culture. We give each other timelines, right? Get over it. Move on with your life. Let's grieve in community, vulnerably, for as long as it takes. We place limits on who's allowed to express anger and when and how. Emotions are embodied. We don't choose them. When we put a lid on them, they often squirt out sideways as violence or depression. I reject shame as a tool for growth, and I choose compassion for myself and others. Love demands compassion, including for myself. Now, I'm often last in line for my own care. Shame is easy. But recovering addicts will tell you that when it comes to growing beyond our worst instincts, shame just makes things worse. My body carries wisdom as well as wounds. I listen to it with curiosity and care. How do I feel right now? Will I honor that feeling, or shut it down? I choose authenticity over approval, even when it's uncomfortable. I can speak my truth with courage and still be loved. Personally, I'm a beginner at this. The fear of conflict is strong in this one. This one. I embrace vulnerability as a strength, not a weakness. Asking for help is a strength. There's an old saying, you've probably heard it, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. Our greatest accomplishments, from building the pyramids to building a beloved community, require deep cooperation among vast teams of people working together. Rugged individualism deters us from even assembling those teams. So forget the bootstraps. I listen to understand, not to fix, judge, or defend. And this affirmation presumes that I listen at all, right? So I have to start with just those first two words. I listen, period. Old cis white guys like me take up a lot of cultural space. I'm doing it right now, right? So I can talk less and listen more, especially with my political and cultural opponents. There's a ton of research out there that says curiosity is more persuasive than evidence. So when we listen with genuine curiosity about others' perspectives, it opens them to reconsider their position, their perspective. Once aware of a healthy pattern, I lean into the discomfort with grateful acceptance and curiosity before I take action. In our culture, we tend to jump from awareness straight to action without taking time to fully understand and accept reality as it is. So a premature rush to fix a problem we don't understand, well, that's a recipe for continuing the cycle, right? I release any inherited pain and fear that no longer serve me, and I bless the resilience that remains. Resmaa Menakem uses the phrase somatic abolition, abolishing the effects of racialized trauma from our bodies. European Americans have this work to do too. It's precisely because love is not at the center of American cultural values that makes Unitarian Universalism such a needed voice, however we symbolize that love. I only have glimmers of what my ancestors went through, but I am aware that almost every immigrant to this continent came as a refugee from some kind of trauma. Religious persecution, famine, extreme poverty, war, genocide, or enslavement. And you know, Native Americans are refugees from all those traumas, but inflicted on them in their own land. So it's in all of us. The most recent science we have says that our ancestors' trauma may live on in our bodies as well as our minds, our culture, and our spirits. This is part of our heritage. Now, for those of you who've been holding your breath this entire time, trying to figure out what's going on in this picture, well, usually when I give this sermon, I know that no one there has any clue. But some of you in this congregation might have a bit of an advantage. However, let me insist that you still can't tell for sure. And the point is that to my mom, it makes no difference whatsoever. These are her great-grandchildren, full stop. And I got to point out that in spite of those adorable bow ties, you don't know these kids' genders either. No one does. We won't know until they tell us. As it turns out, there is some small hint of a possibility that there might be grandchildren for Ann and me, but I'm not going to hold my breath. There are millions of grandchildren out there for me to love and to nurture. But to do that in good conscience, I have to strive not to pass on the unresolved trauma that comes with my Euro-American heritage. And to do that, I have to defy some aspects of that heritage with love, for love. I have work to do. We have work to do. Let's get started. May it be so.
Steps in that are building that way ahead for ourselves and for those grandchildren.
As we extinguish our flames, please join me in speaking our shared intention. May the power of this gathering light our way forward with courage. In the days to come, let us remember that fear is outworked by hope and that hatred is no match for the power of love.
I invite you to reach out to us, reach out to one another. If you're at home, reach toward us, and we are reaching back to you.
We live inside bodies that carry it all. Ancestors, history, culture. As we work to build a new way, let us carefully examine our contents and pass on only what's worth keeping. Go in peace, return in love, and we'll try to get you a copy of those affirmations.